Hey everyone, welcome to Hanafuda with Alton. Today's video is going to be our 2023 August predictions. I just can't believe how fast time is flying. I feel like it was just like maybe a week or 2 weeks ago when I just started 2023. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like I can still remember the feeling of setting out my resolutions and um, yeah, it's now August and we're well into the second half of the year. So it's going to be an exciting ride, I'm sure. So without further ado, let's jump into our reading for today. We have four pals. This is pal 1, pal 2, pal 3, and pal 4. So feel free to pick with your intuition based on what you're seeing now and pause the video. And for those of you who would like to take close-up look of the crystals and cards, we're gonna do that right now. So in pile 1, we have the chrysanthemum and sake cup card in reverse. Oh, sorry. And then we also have this desert rose crystal quartz. In pile number 2, we have the Wisteria and Tanzaku card in reverse, as well as this smoky clear quartz. In pile number 3, we have the Iris card in reverse, and this is called a Mystic Merlinite. I can't remember the exact name of the crystal, but if you look it up, they nickname it a Mystic Merlinite. And last but not least, pile 4, we have the Bush Clover and Tanzaku card, as well as this amethyst point. Hi, pal number 1. Welcome to your reading about your 2023 August predictions. Now, I've shuffled some Hanafuda cards ahead of time for you, and so we're gonna jump straight into it. Now, we started the reading with this first card here, which is the card of Chrysanthemum and the Sake Cup in reverse. Now, the whole Chrysanthemum suit talks about our state of being, our true self, who we are just naturally, who we are on the inside. And that is because the chrysanthemum represents our connection to our DNA, our connection to our lineage. It represents that DNA lineage kind of energy. And it's something that we're born with. It's this very natural thing that each of us uniquely have, some qualities, some gifts, some talents, and strengths that we were born with based on the lineage, the gifts that were passed down to us. There's also a message here about something that is going to last for a long time. It's about a message of longevity because, when we look at the sake cup, and of course this represents sake as well, sake is a type of rice wine in Japan. And when we look at rice, it's obviously has a much shorter shelf life than the sake itself. So by distilling down into this liquid essence of rice into sake, we create a energy of longevity into for rice. And likewise, this card in reverse is compelling you to look at what you really want to create in the long term. Who are you really on the inside, and what is something that you truly want for yourself, not in the short term, but in the long term? And we're getting that energy because for this pal, moving on into the second card is the card of Paulonia in reverse. You guys may have been kind of in a dilemma about whether or not to kind of move on from a particular project, move on from some kind of situation in your life, or to stay in it. And this card is coming up with this kind of suggestion or advice that sometimes giving up or moving on doesn't mean that we don't have the resilience or we didn't kind of persevere through something. Of course, resilience and perseverance is so important, but giving up doesn't mean that we don't have it. And it may not be the best thing for you to keep holding on to something when it may be diverting your attention and energy away from stuff that is truly reflective of the essence of your being, from something that really makes sense to you in the long term, that longevity thing that was coming out of the first card, something that you can build in the long term may be more important than this thing that is weighing on your mind about whether or not to give up on this thing, because there's an energy of maybe it's a short term thing anyway, this project, this situation that doesn't feel that right for you, doesn't feel that good for you. And I think you're holding on because you're just a pal that kind of doesn't really always want to let go of things. You're coming from a place of like perseverance, and giving up just doesn't feel like a good thing to you. But at this point, it may be the better choice to make. So another piece of advice coming up is the Wisteria and Tanzaku in reverse. Now the Wisteria talks about alignment with ourselves and our alignment with source, with the divine. So when we are out of alignment, we're not walking on our path, essentially. We have diverted or strayed away from this path. And sometimes when we stray away from our original path, spirit guides us back onto the path that we were supposed to walk on by showing us rejections, showing us signs of breakdown, showing us basically kind of like situations of failure where something is just not working out. We've tried and tried and tried, but it's just not coming through. And that could be a sign from spirit that, yeah, this is not for you. It's time to come back to your path. So this is something else to think about here. If you've been facing a lot of failure, if you've been facing a lot of rejections on some particular project that you've been working on, that can be spirit's sign that it's time to move back. You've had your time with this project. And of course, even though you may have strayed off and went onto this like kind of side quest, if you will, it doesn't mean that you didn't learn or didn't gain anything from this experience, because every single experience, negative or positive, teaches us something about ourselves and gives us wisdom and gifts that we can then apply to our lives moving forward. So it's not like wasted time or energy. However, if we are already feeling like, yeah, we're at the final, stretch of this story, we've tried everything we can and things are still not working out, maybe it's time to let that go and come back to your center, come back to who you are, come back to what truly makes sense to you. Now, again, the next card we have is Cherry Blossom in reverse. Now, Cherry Blossom is a flower that blooms very quickly and also wilts very quickly. So I'm sure you guys have seen like cherry blossom streets and this imagery of this flower that just comes and goes very, very quickly. So the cherry blossom represents impermanence and change, and it teaches us the importance of being in the now time. So whether or not you have been stuck in the past trying to create success because you are trying to maybe fill in the gaps of a past failure, or you're too much worrying about the future, worrying about what would happen if this doesn't work out, worrying about what people would say or how you might be judged if this thing turns out to be a complete failure. If we're worrying too much about the past and the future, we're forgetting that the now time is the place where we have is the only place that we have, and it is the place that contains the most potential and power for us. And stuff in the past we can't change, stuff in the future hasn't happened. We don't know what is going to happen in the future for sure. I think that's funny to say in the predictions reading, of course, and to a certain extent we can peer into the future for sure, but it's not 100% accuracy as well. You know, I must admit as a reader, and I think everyone must also come to terms with that, that if we all were to predict the future accurately, then, well, we can all win the lottery, right? The next day we can just, find out what the number is, go buy it, and everyone can win the lottery every day. But that's not what's coming up. That's not the way that this world works, at least. So if we're worrying too much about the future, that may not be the best place to be. So come back to the now. There's a message here that Spirit wants to share, which is that practicing gratitude can help you to shift your energy into a higher vibration and show you what you truly need to do. Maybe you're confused because you have been spending so much time and energy trying to nurture this particular project or situation. It could be a relationship. And when it's not working out, maybe the question that you have is, well, then what should I do next? What is the thing for me? And Spirit is saying that gratitude will help you change your perspective and shift your perspective and kind of clear the fog for you. Saying thank you to this project. Thank you for the experiences. Thank you to the people who have been on this journey with you. Thank you and goodbye, saying thank you for everything that you've taught me. Thank you for everything that you have shared with me. Thank you for all the experiences that we've had together. Thank you for the love, the joy, the good and the bad times. And now it's time for us to part ways. When we can really close that chapter with gratitude, that is also when we're more able to see what is next for us. But when we are in a place of resentment, in a place of, why is this happening? Why me? Or why you? Or, what's going on? And if we're still in a place of, this resentment, guilt, regret, or even anger kind of emotion, it's hard for us to move on and to see the next step. So gratitude is something that you may want to practice in the month of August, just to see what opens up when you fully release this energy. And again, we have another card in reverse. This is the card of Maple in reverse. Let me show you what it looks like upright. Now, the Maple card talks about us being stuck. So it's a very similar message to what we've already seen in these previous cards, because the maple leaves flow with the change of seasons, right? They change colors, they fall away. And when this card comes out in reverse, it tells us that something is not flowing, and rather something is stuck in our lives. So another big sign is that if you've been feeling truly stuck in this project, and it's just really not working out, you've been spinning your wheels in the mud and nothing seems to be getting it going, yes, this is the time to walk away. And I'm also hearing that just because you can't sort of work through this situation now, it doesn't mean that you can't come back to it again in future. There may be other opportunities or other entry points back into this problem or this thing that you're trying to resolve. And when you come back to it again in the future, you may have new perspectives, new tools and abilities and skills that can help you solve this problem in a better way because you're more equipped by then. So it's not the end, and I think we may be too kind of like deterministic, is that the word? But we're kind of like putting a hard full stop on things and drawing a firm line on whether or not doors open or close in our lives, we may be too black and white about situations when really life is filled with many different possibilities. So just because this one chapter closes doesn't mean that it's never ever going to show up in your life again. If it's meant to be, if it's something that your soul truly signed up for, then you're going to have the opportunity to come back to it again. So the final card that shows up in your Hanafuda reading part of this reading is the card of Pine and Tanzaku. And this truly is such a great card to close off this part of the reading, because the pine is an evergreen tree. It brings forth life, it brings forth vitality, it brings forth an energy of longevity. So we've been kind of working through all of this difficult struggle, and we've been trying really hard. And yes, Spirit is saying this is a real demonstration of your perseverance, of your willpower. Now let us in August look at what is truly important to you. What is evergreen in your life, in your soul? What is the most important thing that your soul signed up for? What is this energy that you're really here to cultivate? It has this energy of this very long-term thing. It's your life's work, basically. And when we're too caught up with other side quests, other things, other like detours, we may miss the big picture. So come back to this big picture, come back to what your soul is really here to do. There's a window of opportunity opening up for you to come back fully into your center, and it will feel so great in the month of August for you to be aligned again to this purpose, this path of yours. So let us take a look at our oracle cards to see what else Spirit would like to say. Let me just shift these cards up top. And we have a bunch of oracle cards already shuffled out, so let us take a look. The first card we have is Stop. Wow. So yeah, very, 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 very clear message from Spirit that yes, we have a huge stop sign. You've done your duty, you've done your best, and we can now move on. This is time to close this chapter. We have surrender, beautiful, and we also have illumination. I love that. So we're being called to surrender to the divine. You're fighting so hard. Even though you're seeing all these stop signs everywhere, you're sensing that this something is not working out, but you're such a fighter. You're really someone who doesn't give up. And there is a time and place for sure for determination, for perseverance. But what Spirit is saying is that it's time to surrender, my child. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. Surrendering is an energy of knowing that we may not have the full picture of every single thing in our lives, every single thing in this universe, but we choose to trust, we choose to surrender to I'm not going to say surrender to who or to what, because ultimately we surrender to ourselves. We allow ourselves to fall into the unknown. We don't know what it is, maybe, and that's fine. We don't know where this surrendering is going to take us. We don't know what's going to happen when we do our trust fall, but we still fall nonetheless. We still go for it, and we will find out. The thing is, we already have a sneak peek with illumination. Something is going to come to light. Insights, new perspectives, new wisdom. The clarity that you've been praying for is going to come through this act of surrendering. It can sound so counterintuitive because it's like we're trying to knock on the door, we're trying to smash open into this new possibility, into this new world, and maybe we're so adamant that we don't want to surrender, we don't want to walk away or fall on our knees and try a different path. And it's as though we want to smash down this door to see what's on the other side, to kind of shine a light into what's beyond this door? Well, it's kind of clear in this reading that there's a different path, there's a different way. And you're going to get that illumination, that clarity on what's on the other side for you when you walk your path, when you walk the path that is meant for you. Wow, let us take a look at our next two oracle cards. We have Luck is on your side, New Moon and Sagittarius. We also have Hold Your Vision, Fixed Moon. I really love this for you. So what is your vision? You have a vision. You started off this journey with this big plan. Come back to that plan. Hold that vision in sight. That is the thing that you need to focus on, rather than all the failure, all the rejection, all the trials and tribulations. You may be hyper focusing on that and feeling really crappy about your life. Spirit is asking you to hold your faith and trust on the big vision. That is the prize that we're after, not this failure. This failure does not define you. It is this vision that we are going for. And luck is on your side. So that is so cool to see that indeed something is changing. If you've been feeling like you're out of luck and you've been working so hard and nothing is working out for you, something is indeed changing. Luck is on your side. And I'm also hearing this thing, like I always hear from people that luck comes to those who work hard. Like people who have put in the work and put in the effort will attract luck more easily because they have already invested in their energy. And so it's kind of like we put in our energy, and source comes in with their energy, and it feels like we got lucky. But in truth, we got lucky because of the amount of energy that we've already invested into something. So you've put in this energy, it's not going to waste. It's going to cultivate an opportunity, some kind of luck coming in. So that is very, very exciting for you. Let us take a look at our next two oracle cards. We have Hope, Daffodil, number 38. And Productivity, number 8. This is the Kent Pumpkin. So indeed, if you feel like you lost hope and you just don't know what else to do with your life, if you feel like, you're walking into this dead end, Spirit is saying, no, it's not a dead end. It's just a redirection. So there is hope on the way. There is a new path for you. Something is indeed changing. And yeah, again, if you've been feeling like, it has been a super unproductive few months in your life where nothing is working out, there's no progress, it's always rejection and failure one after the other. This is a big sign and a big message that no, it wasn't just rejection and failure. There was something that you gained from this endeavor, this path that you took. You still learned something. It was still a productive time. It may not feel that way because you may not see the material gains from this, the efforts that you put in, but it was still cultivating something. The energy was still building up. Now, when we walk our path, when we come back to what is truly important to us, when we come back to this vision that we had, we are then going to see the rewards. We are then going to see this productivity where our outputs, or rather, wait, how does it go? Our outputs exceed the inputs. That is productivity, right? We have more results coming out. How does it go? Like we have more outputs versus inputs. Yeah, you put in this amount and you get more. So yeah, we are going to feel that strongly starting from the month of August. Let's take a look at our next few cards. We have number 2, Boundaries. Number 36, Yin and Yang. Okay, so boundaries is again a clear sign that we need to draw a boundary on something. I'm also hearing drawing a boundary on a person. It feels like someone may be giving you a lot of opinions that may not be serving you that well, giving you a bunch of feedback that doesn't feel that great. If there is some kind of a person like that in your life, it's time to draw a boundary on their energy that is coming into your life, you don't have to like be rude or kind of like cut them off completely. We can just say thank you. You know, like if they're coming in with some kind of feedback that's unwelcome and doesn't feel right, just say, okay, thank you, and walk away. You know, we don't entertain it. We don't have to put in additional energy to try to argue with them. Just thank you and done. Walk away. Boundaries as well is closing that chapter. Yes, again, so many signs are showing up for you. So if there are this many signs showing up in a reading, I can just imagine how many signs have been showing up in your actual life. So um, take it as it resonates. Of course, you have your own free will, whether or not you want to walk away or to um, continue trying. But this is what we're seeing. It's time to close this chapter. Yin and Yang is about coming back into balance, coming back into um, a balance of our energies. We may now, I'm feeling, I kind of am feeling we're in too much Yang. We're too much in the doing place. We're like trying to create and do and put in a lot of like effort, and the yin is out of balance. So in the month of August, we're balancing out with more yin energy. Yin energy is something that is more restful. It's the feminine energy. It's more nurturing. So you're being called to nurture yourself. Um, you're being called to take care of yourself because you've been grinding really hard and kind of neglecting your own well-being and your health. The other thing about the yin energy, it is an energy of mystery. It's an energy of this unknown, and we're being called to surrender. We're being called to surrender into this energy of the unknown. So relax into the yin energy, relax into this big mystery, this big unknown, and release the fear. Release the fear that comes with it. And when you notice emotions of fear or thoughts of fear coming up, like, you know, as you're sitting with yourself, you're thinking like, oh my god, what if this happens? Oh my god, what if that happens? Oh my god, what's going to happen in the future if I do this, and if I surrender, is something bad going to happen? If you feel all these, if you hear all these thoughts of fear, simply observe and notice them. We don't have to entertain them. We don't have to try to block them out. We don't have to do anything. It's just observing those thoughts and seeing where it goes as you move along. Because sometimes the more we try to block, the more we try to redirect, the more we try to like do something with these thoughts, it kind of feels like we get sucked into the energy of fear even more, versus just observing it, looking at it from a distance, from a more third person perspective, will open up new insights for us and get illumination about a different way. So pile number 1, we are going to close off the reading with some of these oracle cards. So let us see what else Spirit would like to say to us. A August message for pile number 1. Okay, we have here extraordinary. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. Next card we have is liberation. The doubts and fears still come up. You don't believe anymore that they're you. Ooh, we literally just talked about it. So yeah, your fears and your doubts don't define you. You are getting liberated from them. And you know, you are someone who believes that you're extraordinary. You believe that you have something unique to offer to the world. And I think sometimes in our, you know, there's a narrative here about like, oh, you know, we shouldn't be snowflakes. You know, people of a certain generation are kind of like so pampered and so self-centered that they think they're so special when they're not. Yeah, I mean, it's, of course, there's an overdoing of it where someone may be so self-centered or overly focused on themselves to the point that it may feel like they don't have any empathy or ability to connect with other people. But at the same time, it's not false, you know, it's not untrue that we're all unique. Indeed, we are all special and unique in our own ways, and we all have something um, unique to offer to the world. So that can't be discounted. And just because you are unique and special doesn't mean that you take away the spotlight from someone else. It doesn't mean that you're taking away attention from anyone else in the world. So feel you are being liberated to be your own extraordinary self. And I think this idea of what it means to be special and extraordinary is being redefined for you in the month of August. We're not holding so much judgment and so much yeah, it's a lot of like judgment, a lot of just thought patterns from society telling us that you need to be this and you need to be that, you need to be a good girl, a good boy, you need to a good employee is someone who does this, a good boss is someone who does that. All of these expectations weigh us down. It may misguide us, mislead us from living our true lives and our true selves. So we are experiencing a liberation into who we really are, what are we really called for, what is our unique and special qualities that we can bring to the world. Underneath the deck, we have freedom. Oh my God. Okay, so freedom liberation is gonna be so huge for you. I no longer want this fiery ring of resentment to block the good. Release me from its bonds. Oh my God, we were literally just talking about resentment at the start of the reading somewhere, right? Like feeling resentful towards this failure. You're no longer chained to that. You're breaking free from that resentment and you are coming back to your true and free self. You are a free soul, a free human being, and you are completely free to do what you want. Being free is such a blessing. It is such a blessing, and please do not overlook freedom and what freedom can do in your life. I think that a lot of us who are watching these readings at least are living in places that allow us to be free. And there are, of course, people in the world who don't have the same amounts of freedom. The one thing that all of us have is choice. We can all make choices based on our circumstances, our situations. We all have the ability to choose better, to choose what's best for us. And freedom and the ability to enjoy freedom in our lives, the ability to do what we want, is truly a huge blessing. And Spirit really doesn't want you to overlook that. So you're so blessed. You're so blessed in this world. Please don't forget that. And you have so much power to do what it is that you're called to do. So pile number 1, that is what we see for your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through with these amazing messages and wisdom. And I hope to see you in a future video. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading of your 2023 August prediction. So I've already pre-shuffled some of these Hanafuda cards, so we're going to get into it. This was the first card that you chose at the start of the reading, but we are going to come to this at the very end because you're going to see why that is important. Now, we start off the reading with this maple and deer card. Now, the deer symbolizes, or rather the deer is a messenger of God. It is seen as a messenger of God. And you may have felt like in the recent past that you received some kind of an intuition or a divine guidance, or maybe just this spark of inspiration to do something. However you received it, you may not feel that it was divinely inspired or guided. You may have just felt that, oh my God, I really want to do this thing. That's fine. However you received it, there was this message that came through to you about going on this particular path, like you wanted to do something. And as you started doing that, you may have felt like, wait a minute, like, hang on, that's not really for me. And we see that from this card here, which is the card of pine with Tanzaku in reverse. And the pine is a tree that's an evergreen tree, so it symbolizes this longevity, this long-term commitment type of energy whenever we see it come up in the reading. And with this card being in reverse, it tells me that you experienced something which made you feel like, oh hey, this is not long term for me. This is not what I want to do um, with my life. So even though you felt divinely inspired and guided to go in one way, when you went on it, it kind of didn't feel right. So now you come back to this energy here, which is the card of cherry blossom and the tanzaku. And it's almost like we're back to the drawing board. Now, the cherry blossom symbolizes change, right? It's this flower that blooms, has a very short bloom season. So it represents change in our lives. So we come back to the drawing board. We come back to our goals, our vision, what is important to us, and we're changing directions. I kind of feel like this pal hasn't forgotten this energy that you felt, this divinely inspired, guided energy. It may have you may have just seen this episode where things didn't work out as just a road bump, like a little, yeah, obstacle, but it didn't phase you. You're coming back to the drawing board to figure out what is it that you need to change. And Spirit wants to affirm you that yes, there was a trial and error kind of situation going on here and it didn't work out. It's completely fine. Now we're revisiting that idea. And in the month of August, you may face again this situation of trial and error, a roadblock, not a roadblock, but a road bump coming up. We have this card of Maple in reverse. Maple is also, again, it represents flow, the change of seasons, the flow of nature. And with this card being in reverse, it tells us that something is not in flow, something is stuck. So as you try again, to try to work on this project, to try to bring it to life, you may again find yourself in a place of stuckness, resistance, of what is the word? Yeah, stuckness. I was thinking of a word starting with the letter R, but it's not resistance, something else. It may come to my mind later. So something's just not feeling right again. And the thing is, you are not giving up, and Spirit wants to encourage you to not give up as well. Because we have the last card here, which is the card of Plum Blossom with the Tanzaku. Plum Blossom is a card, or rather is a flower that blooms during the winter. So for people who have gone through really long winters, where they've been working really hard, trying really hard, been on a long survival mode, and you feel like, spring is never gonna come, and yet when you see the plum blossom blooming, it's a clear sign that no, this winter will end, spring will come. So as you try and try again, that light at the end of the tunnel is coming, it is arriving, and something is going to come clear to you. Now, what is really being called to shift is what we are coming back to, the first card, and we kind of had to talk about these two together. So the Plum Blossom in Tanzaku not only talks about hope, light at the end of the tunnel, but it also encourages us to look at expectations and how we may be measuring ourselves or trying to live up to certain expectations from the outside world, rather than trying to look at what we really need. What do we really want? What is it that we really truly want to pursue? Because sometimes we may feel so let down and so put down when people tell us that, oh, you're not good at this, or this is not what we think is right for you. This is not what we think is best for you. But what about you? Where are you in the picture? In this month of August, you are learning how to put yourself back into the picture. And that is so important. That is such a huge, big lesson for so many people, just learning how to put themselves back into their own lives. We're so used to living for other people and meeting other people's expectations, and to the point that we don't even know how to live to our own expectations. We may not even know what our expectations are. And that is why you may feel this roadblock or road bump. Sorry, it's not a roadblock, it's a road bump, because you may have been trying to do things to meet external expectations, And that doesn't work because that doesn't feel right for you, and it's your life, so that energy just doesn't gel. The energy of trying to meet external expectations, it just doesn't gel with your energy. So that is why things didn't really work out. So in the month of August, you're being called to come back to what is truly real and feels right to you in your heart. And it is a process that requires courage, confidence, and trust in yourself, especially if we are constantly inundated with expectations and voices from the outside world. It can be so hard to just listen and tune into our inner voice. And that is the fine tuning that we're being called to do in the month of August, to learn how to listen to this inner voice and follow what is truly right for us. So I really want to encourage you to not feel discouraged by the ups and downs that you've gone through, because that is also a part of your learning process, to realize that, oh yeah, this doesn't work for me because this is what maybe my mom expected me to do, and now that I've tried it, I realize that yeah, I really can't see myself doing this thing. Let me do it a different way. So you're trying, what people may tell you to do, and you're realizing that yep, that's not for me, this is not for me, that is not for me. And then by kind of, yeah, it's almost like process of elimination that we come down to distill what is really right for us. So pile number 2, that is kind of the energy and what's going on with you in the month of August. So let us take a look at your oracle cards to see what else Spirit would like to say. I've pre-shuffled a bunch of cards, so let's see. First card we have is growth. Very cool. Second card is movement. And third card is determination. Okay, I mean, I feel like these are so amazing cards because we are growing. We are growing not just in the material sense, like growing cash or growing in like at work, like getting promoted, that kind of thing. But I feel this is a lot more like a personal growth, because we are learning how to listen to our heart and our soul and to follow what feels right for us. And we're no longer following blindly just what people tell us to do. And we're also seeing movement in your life. So if you feel that you've been going like on this bumpy road and it's not kind of going anywhere, in August, we're really going to see movement come in. We're really going to push things forward and really see and experience what this divine inspiration was about. That movement and that energy is coming in. And so determination is a key kind of energy for you. Like what we said, you're being called to not give up or not to feel discouraged by anything that has happened, because it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't meant to kind of redirect you, because sometimes when we face failure, it is telling us to go in a different way. But for this case, it's not. It was a fine tuning of your energy. So keep going. Um, Even if you face stuckness, even if you feel resistance, even if you feel that nothing is moving, keep going, because as you keep going, the movement's gonna come, the growth is gonna come. So let us see the next 2 cards. We have Take Time to Breathe Out, Disseminating Moon. And what is this? What do you need to release? Waning Moon. Wow, I feel like the cards are really, really, really like, the message is like this, it's so tight. What do you need to release? What are some fears? What are the expectations? I feel like I'm a broken record. I've been saying this word so many times. What are the judgments, the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs? What do you need to release? And you may choose to use this as like a journaling prompt for you in August if you are into journaling. Your soul knows the answer. Your higher self knows the answer of what is right for you deep down on the inside, and it knows what you need to release. So in the midst of all this determination and hard work, don't forget to take time to breathe out, to rejuvenate, because you're gonna be really working hard, and we don't want to forget about our rest and just kind of always remembering to breathe and breathe through all the different experiences that we're going through, and just having faith in ourselves as we carry our lives forward, as we move through each breath. I'm just feeling like, whenever you feel stuck, we may feel like our chest is tightening and we are kind of holding our breath. Just let that breath out and keep breathing. I think breath work is going to really support you in the month of August, because the movement of energies from the physical body is going to help the movement of energies in the emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies as well. So don't underestimate the power of breath and how that can shift energy and shift our perspectives in the month of August and, of course, beyond. The next two cards we have are Longevity Chrysanthemum number 39 and Wisdom number 22, the bay leaves. So longevity is really calling out to us about what we want to do in the long term. What is truly our higher calling, our soul's desire. And I think this pile has a really strong knowing and a sense of what this desire is. So what do you want to cultivate in the long term? Do these road bumps matter in the long term? And if they don't, can we move past them? If we're getting stuck thinking like, oh my God, this roadblock again, I keep saying roadblock, so maybe you feel like it's a roadblock. It's not, it's a road bump. So it's just a bump. It's not like a block that is going to take forever to overcome. It's just a bump. What does this bump mean to you in this grand scheme of things? If it is just one small little problem, how can we let go of it? How can we release it? How can we shift our perspective? It's kind of like you need to have like a big zoom out lens, when we're zooming in into this one road blump. What? My brain, run one road bump. If you are zooming in into this one road bump, you may see all the cracks, all the little rocks, all the problems in this road. But when we zoom out, we're gonna see, oh yeah, that was just like a pebble. That was just a little rock in the way. The vehicle that we're driving, this car that we have, is like, doesn't even, you can barely feel the bump, when you drive over this thing. It's just when we hyper focus on it, we can feel it. When we're driving on it, yeah, we can feel the car kind of going boop, like that. But in the grand scheme of things, you're like, hang on, that was like nothing at all. So we need a big zoom out lens in the month of August. Put things into perspective. Is it really that big of a deal? Do we need to make like a mountain out of a molehill? And if we don't, we can move on. Longevity and Chrysanthemum is also coming with the message of gifts and talents that you were born with, because the chrysanthemum is a flower that represents our DNA lineage, our connection to our ancestors. So some gifts and talents that were being passed down to you from previous generations, from your ancestors, are being awakened in the month of August. And it is this gift and innate talent that you were born with that is really coming up to life and really shining really brightly in this divinely inspired path of yours. This is what you are meant to do. This is your life's purpose. This is what you're called to do. So it's awakening. This gift is awakening. And wisdom. I feel like this is talking about inner wisdom, something that you already know. Like deep down, we already have the answers. And if self-doubt creeps up in your heart, just breathe out. Take time to meditate and follow your breath. Allow yourself to journey inwards. If we're constantly looking at the external world for answers, we're looking to society, we're looking to the economy, we're looking to what other people are doing for answers. Those are reference points, but they can't give us the insight that we need that is uniquely applicable to our lives. And one of the best ways we can get those insights is just from within. Look into yourself. That's where the answers truly lie. And we're being called to stop looking at the external world for answers and begin turning inwards for our own wisdom and our own guidance, our own truth. So let us take a look at our next few cards. We have number 18, intimacy, and number 8, dating. Ooh. So for some of you, there may be a love message here for you where intimacy and dating is coming up for you in the month of August. For those who are in a relationship, it's growing that intimacy with your partner. And for those who are single, it's about meeting someone and kind of enjoying that little flirty dating phase. So yeah, there is this love message popping out here for pile number 2. Another way that I am seeing the cards of intimacy and dating is this energy of getting to know someone in a deeper way. It is this, how well do you know yourself? You may know your boyfriend very well, your girlfriend very well. You may know your mom very well. You may have taken, your friends, family, your partner out on many dates. You may have had intimate relationships with people, but have you had an intimate relationship with yourself? Have you taken yourself out on a date and truly took the time to understand and know who you are? We can write scripts after scripts and go on long rants with our friends about every other person in the world, right? Like, we talk and analyze what this person is doing, whether or not their like Tinder message means anything. We spend so much time thinking about what other people are doing and not enough time looking into who we are and what we're here to do. So this intimacy and dating is also an energy directed to yourself. It is about coming into a closer and more intimate relationship with yourself. So pile number 2. Ooh, the card already came out. I was gonna say that we're gonna shuffle from this deck to see what else Spirit would like to say to close off this reading. So the first card we have is guidance. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. So you are guided. And we saw that with this maple and deer card here, where there was a message from God coming in, a message from source, however you call it. And there's divine guidance coming in. Whether or not you see it as divine guidance or it was an inspiration coming from within, whatever it is, that was your North Star. And this ship is sailing. The ship may sometimes go off course. Maybe we are still learning how to read the compass. We're still learning how to read the maps and the stars in the sky. We're still learning how to navigate the seas, but the ship is sailing and we're called to be sailors. We're called to be the captain of this ship. So take the wheels, start sailing forward into your North Star. And yeah, I almost also feel that this is inner guidance. You already know what to do. There's no separation between inner and divine guidance. It's just this inner knowing and spiritual knowing and source knowing coming into harmony and guiding you forward. Yes, underneath the deck we have intuition. Each person's road to the inner Lord is extraordinary and personal. How liberating to listen inside and sense moment to moment what's needed. So you're sharpening your intuition. That is exactly what we see in this reading. It's just this fine-tuning of your senses, of who you are, and just being able to discern better what's for you and what's not for you, which way to go, which way not to go. We're just really getting better with our intuition and getting into a closer relationship with our divine guidance, our inner wisdom and truth. So pile number 2, that is what we see for your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through with these amazing messages, and I hope to see you in a future reading. Bye. Hi pile 3, welcome to your reading about your 2023 August prediction. So I've already like shuffled out some of the Hanafuda cards for your reading, and this is the first card that you picked at the start of the reading, but we're gonna come back to this once we've finished talking about the rest of the cards, and you'll see why. So we are starting off with this Wisteria card in the upright position. And this is such a positive card really to show up in this reading. And actually overall, the energies in your reading are super positive because what we can see from kind of, I think it would be like what I'm hearing is a month or 1 to 3 months ago, or in this 1 to 3 months period, you have been really um, letting go of things that no longer serve you and finding greater alignment within yourself and with source. So this alignment has really just created this like straight through route for energy to just move into your life, for things to just happen for you because you are in alignment and in agreement with your higher self, with source, and of course with your inner truth. So it's just one straight path. There are no bumps, there are no like, strange uh wavy parts of the road. It's just super smooth energy road ahead. And what that is doing is it's creating a lot of growth in your life. So you would see that opportunities are coming in, or maybe certain signs and synchronicities telling you that, yeah, it seems like I am manifesting this thing in small or big ways. This energy that I have been trying to bring in into my life, it is happening. Whether that be some kind of change in your career, whether that be a change in the family or a relationship change. And the thing is, Paulonia, which is the card that I'm holding now, is a tree that grows really, really fast. So this card represents rapid growth. So this energy of growth is just whoosh coming in into your life and just um, creating that manifestation that you have been wanting to. And for the month of August, we have the cards of um, this is the Pine and Crane card, and this is the Phoenix and Paulonia card. So these two cards are, I guess, to draw a parallel with tarot, and you may be more familiar with tarot readings on YouTube. These two cards may be more like a major arcana card, where it represents a sort of bigger event or bigger situation happening in your life. And these two cards in the upright position are such huge blessings. First of all, the crane, the red crowned crane, which you see in this card, is a super positive sign, and this it is a bird that has such like auspicious, it's such an auspicious symbol in Japan and also in many Asian countries cultures. So for this to appear in your reading, it suggests an auspicious time ahead for you in the month of August. There is happiness, there is blessing, there is harmony. uh yeah, and the crane really represents and symbolizes happiness and marital harmony. So you will experience this increase in just joy and satisfaction in your life in the month of August. Now, with the Phoenix and Paulonia card, again, yeah, this is another Paulonia card. So Phoenix and Paulonia, and this Paulonia card came from the same suit. And for the Phoenix to show up, the Phoenix only shows up when it brings forth a positive blessing. So there is a major, major blessing coming to you in the month of August. And it could be a career related one. It could also be a relationship blessing coming in. And really, it's whatever you have been aligning yourself to, whatever that energy was, a blessing is coming in for you in the month of August. Now, so with all of this great news coming in, we have this card here, which is so interesting. This is the card of Iris in reverse. Now, Iris itself talks about, it's a flower that symbolizes change and grief, and how we are called to walk away from something that has no longer served us, walking away from, or rather releasing emotions like grief, sadness, disappointment, resentment, things like that. These more intense, deep emotions that may weigh us down in a more heavier way. We are being called to release them. So as all of these great things are coming into your life, you may be wondering like, well, is this going to last? Is this good news and this good vibe going to stay on in my life, or are things just going to revert back to the old ways where things were not so great? And your guides really want to say to you in the month of August that you create your own reality. And you really, really need to see that this is true, because you see, this is the choice that you made. The choice you made was to align yourself to your highest, for towards a higher vibrational energy for your highest good. And when you made the choice to do that and you actively took the steps to let go of things that no longer serve you, you see all these good things happening, coming in. So your guides want to encourage you that it isn't good things that are happening to you, but rather you are creating the goodness in your life. So at any point you catch yourself wondering, oh no, maybe things aren't gonna last. Maybe, the bad luck is gonna come back in again. Please remember just how much power you have in creating your reality. And you always, always have the choice to walk away from that which doesn't serve you. So if at any point, new information surfaces up where you are called again to maybe look into this trauma or look deeper into the deeper layers of this trauma, just know that it is simply that. It is the issue, like deeper parts of that issue coming up for healing. And that is what they say, right? Like healing isn't a linear journey. It comes with, it's kind of like a wave. And sometimes we go through intense periods of healing and we feel all of this unearthing of um this this trauma, or the unearthing of the wounds coming up to be healed. And then sometimes we enter a period of integration where there isn't that much healing in the active sense, so to speak. Like you're not going through so much processing, but you're integrating all of the lessons you have learned. And so that's when you may feel like, oh, okay, things are fine, things are more smooth sailing. And then suddenly we may find ourselves entering a place like, oh my God, why is there more to deal with this situation? Why has it not ended? And the thing is, until we truly process the full thing, we won't be able to walk away from it. And sometimes our soul or ourselves are just not prepared to deal with the deepest layers of this trauma. So we deal with it in parts, and just know that your soul knows what's best for you for your healing. Your guides, your angels know what's best for you, and you wouldn't be tasked to overcome something that you're not prepared to overcome. So when it's the right time, the right lessons, the right healing journeys, the right people, the right things will happen for you at the time that is best suited for you. So there's so much good news coming in for you in the month of August, truly. And just always remember that you are in control and you are responsible fully for this reality. Not anyone else, not some kind of luck or some outside situation, but you yourself are responsible. And you have the power to change things, do things differently if you wish to do it differently. It's not, you're not tied down to any one situation. So let us take a look at our oracle cards to see what else Spirit would like to say about month of August. I have already shuffled out a bunch of cards, so let's see. Ooh, the first card we have is Mystery. And let's see, the next card is Rest. Third card is Reflection. Wow, so first of all, with Mystery, I find this so interesting because, we are doing a predictions reading, but the mystery card shows up. And I think that is something that's showing up, at least in my life, more and more, this appreciation of the mystery of the future and not trying to read too much into the future, even though, like, as a reader myself, I have the tools to sort of divine the future, like through divination. But there are some things that are best left unsaid, like the future and life life unfolds in magical ways. And sometimes it is in our best interests not to know about everything that's going on in the future. So I think this mystery card is really showing up to remind us again that the future is a mystery. As much as we can try to do readings to try to see what are the energies like, try to peer into the signs and what's going on. At the end of the day, it's not 100% accurate kind of like it's not 100% accuracy that we can get from it, is what I'm trying to say. And there will always be some things that will be left as a mystery. Either it is something that's unknown to you or something that's unknown to the reader, right? And we need to leave this mystery as a mystery, not judging that it's going to be bad or it's going to be good. And I think that's where your headspace was at. And that's what I was picking up on, where you may be like worried about whether or not the future is going to go bad and feeling that things will always go bad in the future. Maybe you have that belief system or that assumption. And your guides are coming up to say that, well, the truth is, it is a mystery. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be bad and it could be really good. So we leave it as a mystery and we allow life to unfold and allow ourselves to embrace this unknown, this deep mystery of the universe. So rest and reflection are so crucial for you in the month of August. It's really time for you to integrate those healing energies. And that's why resting is so important, like just the basic stuff like sleeping well, eating well, taking good care of yourself. Those basic things are so important. And I'm also hearing that you are coming into a better relationship with self-care, where maybe in the past you may not have had that great of a self-care routine, maybe even for the basic things in your life. But right now, you are building back those basic building blocks of what it means to take care of yourself, what it means to be there for yourself first and foremost. And reflection is this deeper look into your life. And it's very much related to this mystery card where we're just sinking in deeper and deeper and looking inwards into ourselves, really integrating those energies from within. Well, I hope I'm making sense because it's kind of a deep message going on here. But let's continue looking at the cards. Maybe more information will show up and things would start to really unfold and make sense. Okay, full moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches. Yeah, that was exactly what we kept picking up on, which was this fact that something kind of happened in the past that wasn't that great for you. And truly, in the month of August, you're seeing a lot of good things coming in. So it represents the end of that tough cycle. Next we have is have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent moon. So what are your dreams, pile number 3? What are some of the goals that you may have? Maybe you have left them aside for a long time because you are focused on dealing with this negative situation that was going on. And maybe you lost faith in those dreams because you didn't feel equipped or you didn't feel that you had it in you to go and get them done. But now you do. The thing is now you do. So come back to your dreams, come back to what matters most to you, come back to this alignment that you have found. And it's time to reignite that faith in the beautiful and hopeful things in your life. Next 2 cards we have are, what is this? Communication, the P. This is the card number 2. And we also have number 10, ritual, sweet corn. So ritual to me really symbolizes like a self-care ritual, a self-love ritual. So you're being called to really put in place practices to help you strengthen those building blocks of self-care. So when is the best time for you to maybe do your skincare? What makes you feel the most relaxed? What helps you unwind at the end of a work day? What else? Like what makes you feel alive and in love and connected with yourself? What are some activities that you can put into a routine and a practice every single day? that you can always come back to, and that is the way that you love and care and be there for yourself. These are things that you do for yourself, not for anyone else. With communication, there's something that needs to be said. There's something that we want to express, and I think it's really about expressing our true self more and more. You're not in an energy where you want to continue holding back or trying to mince your words any longer. You are coming into such a strong and confident and you have so much faith, in yourself and so much trust in yourself that it doesn't make sense for you as this person to still continue holding back. The thing is, what I'm picking up is that maybe some of you may still feel this pattern of holding back on your words and your truth because you were so used to not expressing them, and maybe you had a lot of experiences where people would shut down your ideas or shut down your emotions and your feelings. But right now, you know that that doesn't work for you, and it also doesn't work for those people who have been shutting you down. So it is key for you to begin communicating your needs. And there's a bit of nuance here because the guidance that is coming through from this reading is still a general one where we're just being called to communicate our needs, but how we communicate them is something that requires more fine-tuning to the individual. So please take it as it resonates. Communication to one person would look very different to another person depending on their situation in life right now. And sometimes we need to communicate different ways basically because of the different situations we find ourselves in. But the one thing that stands true is the need to communicate your needs, your wants, and your truth. Let's look at our next cards. We have number 10, the distorted masculine. And number 14, forgiveness. This card is so beautiful because it says, I forgive myself and I am forgiven. So you see how there is this loop, this positive, loop or positive sort of spiraling of energy just coming up and up because you forgive yourself, you're forgiven. You forgive yourself, you're forgiven. It just creates this positive feedback loop that builds more and more gentleness and love back into your life. So yeah, you're coming into a place where you can forgive yourself for the things that you have done, for the mistakes that happened, for maybe even putting yourself in the situations that were not ideal for you. This month, the month of August, is about coming into terms and being at peace with the past. Now, with the distorted masculine, if you look at this card, we see this man, and he's like wearing a suit and a tie, but it's all tattered and torn. And you look at the environment around him, there's war going on. We have the bank, the police, the entire sort of city is a little bit desolated. There's this huge watch at the back constantly reminding this man that there is a clock ticking and, he needs to watch the time. And so we may find ourselves in a situation like that in the past where there was fear, there was chaos, there was disruption, there was all these things happening around us all the time. And we find ourselves constantly fighting a battle. But is this battle a made-up fear? Or how much of it is really, or rather, is it a projected fear? Is it a projected anxiety? And how much of it is it really true? Because we hear so much from a lot of societal messages or even messages from our family which breeds a lot of fear among a lot of people, that things like there are not enough jobs or there's not enough something, not enough time to go around, not enough money to go around. And we really need to start questioning, is that really true? Is it true that we don't have time? Is it true that we don't have what it takes to get a job? Is it true that we don't have what it takes to make the money that we ideally would like to have? Is it really true, or is that a projected fear? And it's time to really start discerning what do we really want to tune into? What do we want to listen to? And what do we want to tune out of? Almost like, a radio where we dial into a station that we want to listen to, and on frequencies that we don't want to pay attention to, we can dial out of it. And that is actually already something that you are doing with this wisteria card that we see, where you're coming into greater alignment with yourself. So you would find that, hey, some of these fears that I have been holding for all my life, it feels like it's not really that um, real at all. These are more like projected fears from society. So there's no need for me to be living in this constant state of fear, um, just because everyone is painting this particular picture, So we are going to take some more cards from this Divine Abundance deck to close off this reading and see what else Spirit would like to say. Message for pile number 3. Whoa, okay. We have, 3 cards that flipped out. That's really interesting. Let's see. The first card we have is, Divine Flow. Eventually, one sublime desire takes precedence over all others to follow the Tao, the divine flow at all costs. We're coming into greater flow with ourselves. It's just like the alignment card that we saw. Flow and alignment, the energy just whooshing into your life. Beautiful. Next card we have is Humility. Allow me, Divine, to always accept the right assistance. I welcome your help in every way and I delight in receiving it. So do you have a problem with receiving help? Do you tend to reject help in your life? I'm hearing pride and ego. Let it release the pride. It's okay to receive help and accept help in any way, shape, or form. Last card is Acceptance. Radical acceptance in the now opens the flow. So yeah, acceptance and forgiveness to me feels like a very kind of not the same thing, but in a similar vein, where you are really coming to terms with something, really making peace with something, and accepting and forgiving this thing for happening in your life. Underneath the deck, we have Love. Divine Source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. Yeah, this to me ties in so well with the divine, distorted masculine. We're always taught to fight with the world, that there are threats out there that we need to defend ourselves against. And yes, some things are dangerous out there. Of course, it's not saying that it's a totally safe world where there's no crime, but at the same time, we do need to recognize that there's a lot of fear, anger, and anxiety that is amplified and projected into this world, and a lot of it we don't have to take in. So instead of constantly fighting and trying to save something or someone or ourselves, we come back to the place of love, and it's a bigger recognition of what the presence of love means in your life in the month of August. And I think you're just really opening up your awareness to how much love there truly is in your life, and where you have not really been noticing the energies of love. So pile number 3, that is what I see for your reading. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I would like to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming through with these amazing messages and wisdom. And I hope to see you in a future video. Bye. Hi, pile number 4. Welcome to your August 2023 predictions reading. So I have already shuffled out the Hanafuda cards for this pile. So we're going to get to talking about them. This was the card that you chose at the start of the reading, but we are going to come back to it at the end and you'll know why. It's kind of being like that for the past few readings, where it has really been about like talking about these cards first and then coming over back to the overall energy, because it'll make sense then. So the first card that we have is the card of Peony and the butterfly. And this is a really, really positive card. It brings in such a great message of incoming wealth, of incoming abundance, And it also talks about how you have been expressing your truth and your just owning owning your reality, owning your truth, and really just speaking out and standing up for yourself. And the more you do that, the more the energy of uh, manifestation flows in easier, because you're standing up and showing the universe who you are exactly and what you want. And with that kind of clarity, it allows, the universe to give you exactly what you asked for. You're not holding back, you're not feeling that you're not good enough for your dreams, you're not feeling that um you're not worthy of something. So by just you standing up and owning up to these dreams, it has opened up a pathway of increased cash and abundance. And I'm not just seeing this for August, but I feel like for some of these people in this pile, this has been something that you've already been experiencing in the recent past. So big congratulations to you. And the more that you stand up for yourself, the more that you speak your truth, there's also a greater need to draw boundaries, because there will be some people who will look at your truth and they're not on your side, basically. And well, it's not that these people did something wrong or that they are bad people. It may really just be that they themselves are projecting their fears onto you. And when they see you standing out, doing the exact thing that they are afraid of, they may call you names and kind of like it is a bit twisted. Now, I'm not going to mince my words. It is twisted in that sense that they are projecting their fears on you, and of course they don't may not realize it. um but nonetheless, it's none of our business what technically people think or say or do. What we need to do is to draw healthy boundaries. So with this increased expression, you're also learning how to draw healthy boundaries. And in the month of, oh, there's this little insect here, let me just pop him off the desk. With In the month of August, there's an increased sense of sacredness and boundaries coming into your life. And that may be what you have been hoping for. Is this even focused? I hope it is. That may be what you're hoping for, because there has been, maybe you've been feeling that there are a lot of intrusions in your life, a lot of like invasive energies from people, judgments, opinions that you didn't need. And you're learning how to protect your space and learning how to create healthy boundaries for yourself. This is the card of cherry blossom and the curtain. So the curtain represents that boundary. And this is also about setting up a healthy boundary and sacred space over the things that are most important to us, especially if you are in the building phase of your manifestation, like you are still trying to grow a project or grow a business, or you're trying to develop a relationship. If it's still in its early stages, it is a better idea to keep it sacred to yourself. um, because sometimes with external judgments and opinions coming in too early, it may disrupt the momentum and the energy that we have already been putting into this thing. So in August, there's a need to put this boundary around it. The thing is, as well, for the card of cherry blossom is represents the month of March. So March is actually spring energy, where we are there's new life coming in. So this symbolizes that new life coming in as well. There's the seeds are sprouting. There is the manifestations are beginning to show signs of fruition. So all the more there is this kind of sacredness protecting this manifestation in August. And so the next thing that's coming up is the Wisteria and Cuckoo card in reverse. This card talks about our alignment with ourselves and with the universe, with source. And the thing is, I think a Wisteria card has come up in almost every single reading, I feel, if I'm not mistaken, at least the last two readings. So divine alignment and coming back into harmony with ourselves is a collective theme that so many of us are going through. And this is a lifelong's work, the continual process of speaking up for our truth and living as truth as true to who we are as we can. And in the month of August for you, it is a greater recognition of what's real to you. What are you really about? Who are you really? What do you stand for? And what do you come home to, basically? If there are things in your life that you are constantly coming back to or coming home to that you don't want to invite into your home space anymore, maybe that is a sudden repetitive thought pattern of fear. Maybe that is a sudden judgmental voice that is coming from this person that you are always keeping close around you. If you're constantly finding yourself coming home to these type of energies that you don't feel resonate with you at this time, then August calls for a time to draw those healthy boundaries around um, that energy. So now we come back to the first card, and this is the card of bush clover and the tanzaku. Now, bush clover is a card that talks about deep relaxation. And you may be thinking like, well, we've been talking about boundaries, about self-expression, about truth. Whoa, why is relaxation the theme of my month? And the thing is, you're doing so much work on the outside. There's actually a lot of activity coming from these cards that you are actively putting yourself out there, you're actively speaking your truth, you're actively manifesting something in your life. And with this activity, there's also a need that spirit is coming up to say that you do need to remember to rest and integrate and give yourself pockets of space where there is just me time, relaxation time for yourself. Relaxation is so very important because when we're constantly in a doing phase, when we're constantly in a stressed state of mind or state of being, it is more difficult to tap into the inner wisdom or to tap into um, like inspiration within us spontaneously versus at a time when we are just resting, when we are kind of in a way idle, right? Where we're just maybe sleeping or reading a book or going on a walk. It is on this during these times of suppose seemingly idle times that suddenly an idea just pops into your head. Suddenly you just get the inspiration to solve a particular problem you've been dealing with for a while. So that is why rest is so important because it's a really strategic move for you actually because you're doing so much on the outside, and if as the leader, the captain of this ship, you don't prioritize your rest, then you're going to be less effective when you lead in your day-to-day life. So it's like a increased sense of leadership and management in your life that is coming in for the month of August. I find it kind of weird, like, like you are your own manager or your own boss, but that really is the case, right? I mean, I think some of us may be so used to someone else managing us, or maybe even like a parent or whatever it is, like being the boss of our lives. But in the month of August, you're just realizing like, hey, I'm my own boss, I'm my own leader. I need to do what's best for me. And if right now the best thing to do is to rest, then I do need to take action on that. Yeah, so let us take a look at our oracle cards to see what else spirit would like to say. So the first card is, ooh, death. So cool. The next card is strength. And third, we have ghost. Okay, so death is about transformation, about change. From all these cards here, the fact that you are drawing boundaries on important things, sacred things in your life tells me that we are truly committed to this transformation in our lives. We're not allowing the same old patterns, the same old energies to come in and disrupt our lives anymore. We're committing to our transformation. We're going to make this change. We're going to emerge as the butterfly out from this cocoon, and we're going to get there no matter what. And so look at this strength. There's so much strength in what you're doing in the month of August. That was what I was picking up on, which was this like level of activity that was going on. It's really so much strength coming from you, and that's why Spirit also wants to remind you to rest. Remember to prioritize your rest amidst all of this strong um, determination, active kind of energy. With the card Ghost talks about our subconscious. What are some things that we may have buried in our subconscious mind that need to be healed, that need to be surfaced to the conscious for to come up to our awareness, be that traumas, be that old wounds, old thought patterns, old habits that have been kind of stuck in the subconscious. They are coming up to be released in the month of August. Next two cards we have are you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. And a time for healing, balsamic moon. Yeah, this is definitely a time of healing for you. Um, you are undergoing that healing. We're literally just talking about it, about healing those old wounds, healing something that has been in your subconscious. So that may be something related to childhood, where we may have buried a particular memory or incident in the subconscious mind. Yeah, there's some kind of like unearthing going on here. And you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. I get the sense that some of you may feel that there are some threats in your life that, yeah, exactly. That's why we have all these boundaries cards coming up. It feels like you feel like there's some kind of threat maybe happening to you. And this card is a reassurance that you are safe. And as long as you draw up those healthy boundaries, you are safe. So remember that you want to be practicing standing up for your truth and standing up for what you need. And if somebody needs to be told a firm no, you have to give it to them. You can't hold back anymore. Next two cards we have are number 25, cleansing, lemon. I mean, yeah, we are really cleansing out our lives here, going through death, sweeping out all of the old so that we can welcome in the new. And then we have number 34, attraction, pansy. So yeah, with all of this cleansing, with all of this unearthing of this old dusty stuff and then cleaning it, rejuvenating our lives, we come into a place of manifestation and attraction where we can then revamp our space and really begin to attract the things that we truly want in our lives. Next two cards we have is number 11, the divine feminine, and number 31, sexuality. So wow, these two cards have very kind of similar energy going on, where it's like we're just so much more in tune with ourselves, our feminine nature, our sensuality, our sexuality, and I just feel like we're developing a deeper, intimate relationship with ourselves. These two energies kind of remind me of the, what is it called? Sacral chakra, where it is a creative energy. It is an energy where we're birthing new things into the world. And we are tapping into this creative nature within us to create new things in our lives. So we're no longer waiting for things to happen. We're no longer expecting other people to create things in our lives, but we're just going to do it by ourselves. And if no one's going to do it, you're going to do it. And you are going to be so freaking amazing at creating these wonderful things in your life. So, Paul, number 4, we're going to take some oracle cards here to close up this reading to see what else Spirit would like to say for your month of August. Okay, we got, I believe these is 4 cards, which is fine. The first card we have is Divine Love. When you offer everything to the divine with detachment, you begin a love affair with Spirit. Yeah, I mean, feels very much again like this I don't know, the divine feminine and the sexuality card, these two women here, they bring forth this energy of love to me. It's just really warm and nurturing and friendly and loving. So you are coming into a love affair with spirit. Next card is allowing. Radical acceptance says yes to reality in any given moment, so what's needed can come next. It's a process of surrendering as well, is what I'm hearing in this card. That, yeah, we are not forcing things to happen. We're not coming from a space of a lack mentality anymore. We know that we are worth it. We know that we deserve good things in life, and we allow those things to happen. The next card is awakening. Oh my Lord, wake me from life as a spiritual sheep. May I hear you through my own instincts and common sense. Yeah, a greater awareness. And finally, intuition. Each person's road to the inner Lord is extraordinary and personal. How liberating to listen inside and sense moment to moment what's needed. So yeah, there's this ongoing theme with these four cards where we're just so much more in tune with our senses, with this intuitive ability within us, and a lot of that awareness is awakening, and we are allowing ourselves to go with the flow with everyday life, not trying to control so much, but just allowing spirit to take us where we need to be. And we may surprise ourselves with where we find ourselves landing in the month of August. And that's going to change our perspective about what it means to flow and be in alignment with spirit. Underneath the deck, we have inner power. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. So wow, I mean, look at all this, like, divine love, allowing, awakening, intuition cards, and then we have inner power. So don't underestimate how much courage and strength and power and self-esteem, self-assuredness comes, or it is this inner power that is driving this allowing, this awakening, and this intuition. It is the inner power that drives this divine love, because we're not coming from a space where we are feeling small, weak, helpless, hopeless, fearful, insecure, or lacking in any way, shape, or form. We are coming from a place of power. So we know that we can trust ourselves, we can trust the universe, and we just go forward with this intuitive instinct. So pile number 4, that is what I see for your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to thank Hanafuda Magic, my teachers and guides, for coming in with these amazing messages and wisdom, and I hope to see you in a future video. Bye.